Hello and welcome to the fifth lecture of the topic of non-ferrous of the topic of module 1 in the subject non-ferrous metals and alloy. So in this lecture we will see, in this lecture it is a continuation of the previous lecture. This lecture is the continuation of the previous lecture, which is non-ferrous metal and its alloy, um, which is non-ferrous metal and its alloy, and this is the second part. In the previous part, what we have studied, about the copper and its alloy, and mainly we studied what is non-ferrous alloy, why non-ferrous alloys are required, and what are the advantages of copper, what are the alloys of the copper, and in there we have studied in detail about the brass. Now we will study about the bronze and other copper alloy, other alloys copper, and we will study about the aluminium and its alloys. Now bronze is the second alloy which is important, important to study, to know about the alloys of copper. So bronze is a broad term which define the alloy of copper and elements other than nickel or zinc. When the elements other than nickel or zinc added with copper, those are called bronze. So what is bronze? Bronze is the alloy of copper and materials other than nickel or zinc. So bronze basically an alloy of copper and tin. Bronze is basically an alloy of copper and tin. Bronze possesses superior mechanical properties and corrosion resistance than brass. Bronze is comparatively hard and it resists the surface wear. So bronze is mainly simple bronze. If there is written bronze, that means alloy of copper and tin. This is known as bronze. Now this bronze has superior mechanical property along with good corrosion resistance. Bronze is comparatively hard and it resists the surface wear. So it can be shaped or rolled into wire, rod or sheet. There is different type of bronze. Those are first phosphor bronze. In case of phosphor bronze, it is the most important copper tin alloy are those which have been deoxidized with phosphorus during the refining process, and hence known as phosphor bronze. So what is phosphor bronze? The alloy of copper and tin which is deoxidized using phosphorus is known as phosphor bronze. The amount of the residual phosphorus may range from a trace to about 0.35% or even higher in some special grade. The excess phosphorus which exists in solid solution mainly increase the hardness and strength of the alloy, but it does so at the expense of ductility, and the amount greater than 1% phosphorus causes excessive brittleness and impairs the surface appearance, but it affords a good bearing surface. So it is evident that the use of high phosphorus bronze composition for gear and other machining part which is subject to wear. So that means by increase from this discussion, what we can understand that the increasing the amount of the phosphorus by increasing the amount of phosphorus, wear resistance is increased, or the hardness of the material increase, in expense of what? In expense of ductility of the material. Now phosphorus bronze contain approximately 4% of the tin. Lead and zinc has excellent free cutting characteristics. Standard phosphor bronze for bearing application contain 90% of copper, 10% of Sn and 0.5% of phosphorus. Sandcast condition. In the sandcast condition, it has tensile strength about 220 to 280 Newton per millimeter square and elongation about 3 to 8%. Phosphor bronze for gears mainly contain 88% of copper, 12% of Sn and 0.3% zinc and 0.50% of Pb and 0.15% of phosphorus, and it is also has 220 to 310 Newton per millimeter square along with 5 to 15% of elongation. These are the these alloys, these phosphor bronze alloys are utilized in general for bearing where the rigidity are advantages, rigidity where it's a rigidity of advantages. So these are the use of phosphor bronze. So phosphor bronze is a hard material which can be used in bearing and in which there is copper, copper, tin, and there is trace of phosphorus. So next come aluminium bronze. Aluminium bronze has following composition and it possesses the following properties such as good strength, high corrosion resistance, good heat resistance, and good cold working properties. It has useful used in bearing, gear, slide valve, imitation jewelry, valve set, propellers, cams, pump part, etc. The mainly it contains mainly copper, aluminium, iron, tin, and manganese. Very small amount of manganese. So this is about aluminium bronze. Next there is silicon bronze. See, in silicon bronze, the in with copper there is silicon, iron, and manganese. And when lead is added, small amount of lead is added, the silicon bronze has good machine. Then silicon bronze has improved its machinability. And now silicon bronze possesses such properties such as high strength and toughness, and it is as that of mild steel, and corrosion resistance is as that of copper. Silicon bronze find the following use has following use such as bearing, roll mill separators, turnable bushing in marine hardware, weighs and gives, screw down nut, boiler part, die-cast part, etc. can be made using silicon bronze. Now there is another type of the metal that is known as gunmetal. It is an alloy of copper, tin, and zinc. It is an alloy of copper, tin, and zinc, and it is known as gunmetal. So zinc here in gunmetal, zinc cleans the metal and increases its fluidity. So its fluidity is increased in as there is zinc is present. A small amount of lead may be added to improve castability and machinability. So these are gunmetal. Gunmetal can be different type. First is admilitary gunmetal. It contains of 10% of tin, 2% of zinc, 1.5% maximum 1.5% of lead, and 1.5 maximum 1.5% of nickel, and rest part is copper. The tensile strength, it has good tensile strength of 260 to 340 Newton, 260 to 340 Newton per millimeter square, and it is widely used for pump, valve, miscellaneous casting, and also used for statutory application. Next there is nickel gunmetal. Nickel gunmetal contains 7% of tin, 2.25% of zinc, 0.3% of lead, and 2% maximum of nickel. When it is sandcasted, it has tensile strength about 200 to 270 Newton per mm square, which is similar as mild steel, and this is among the most of the widely used grade, particularly where the pressure tightness is required. In general, gunmetal is used for bearing, steam pipe fitting, marine casting, hydraulic valves, and gears. These are the use of gunmetal. Now there is another type which is called bearing materials, bearings materials. So this bronze can be used as bearing material. So how the using can be done? Bearing, what is bearing? Bearing support the moving part such as shaft, spindle or machine or mechanism, and maybe it is maybe classified as rolling contact bearing or plain bearing. And the advantage, a bearing material should possess low coefficient of friction. It provides high wear strength, high compressive strength should be there, high fatigue strength should be there, able to bear shock and vibration. It has to possess high thermal conductivity to dissipate the heat generated due to friction and bearing, friction between the bearing and the rotating shaft. It also possesses adequate strength and at high temperature. Such it should be such that it can be easily fabricated. These are the properties of the bearing material that a bearing material should have. So for copper or bronze alloy, bronze has bronze has most of the properties, so that's why bronze can be used as bearing material. Now we will see about aluminium and its alloy. What is aluminium? We all have been seen aluminium. So the appearance of aluminium is, it is silvery white. It is silvery white metal and possess the following characteristics. First and most important characteristics, it's a light metal. Weight of the aluminium is very low with density about 1/3 of that of the steel and brass. So it has 1/3 density of the steel and brass. Electrical conductivity. Electrical conductivity is about 60% of the copper. It is not more electrically has more electrical conductivity than copper, but 60% of the electrical conductivity of the copper can be seen in case of aluminium. It has high thermal conductivity. Aluminium has high thermal conductivity. Fourth, it is ductile and malleable. Aluminium is ductile and malleable. That means it can be made to wear or sheet. These are the added advantage. And next, it has non-magnetic, non-sparkling character. It has easy formability and easy machinability. It is also a good conductor of heat. So these are the advantages of the aluminium. So aluminium is used mainly as a lightweight material, and it is also good conductor of heat and electricity, and it has also good thermal conductivity, ductility. It possesses ductility and malleability. It can be easily formed or machined. So these are the advantage of aluminium. Now there are type of aluminium. Aluminium can be classified as wrought alloy, cast alloy, heat treatable alloy and non-heat treatable alloy. So wrought alloy, we all know what is wrought alloy. Wrought alloy is the ductile version of the pure metal, that is wrought alloy. Cast alloy is the brittle version of the pure metal, that is cast alloy. Heat treatable alloy, in the composition in which heat treatment can be possible. Heat treatment is a process of changing the mechanical property by changing the microstructure of the material, and that we will see in the later section. And there is non-heat treatable alloy, that those alloy does not permit heat treatment upon them, is known as non-heat treatable alloy. Now aluminium alloy may contain first aluminium manganese, next aluminium magnesium, aluminium magnesium manganese, aluminium magnesium silicon, aluminium copper magnesium, aluminium copper silicon, aluminium copper magnesium and lead, aluminium magnesium silicon and lead, and again aluminium zinc, magnesium and copper. So these are the possible alloy metal those exist in nature, those exist in the industry, and has some specific operations. So these are the aluminum alloy. So we will see about the composition of the aluminum, and there are different names as per the composition. So in case of wrought alloy of the aluminum, there are few wrought alloy of the aluminum. In them, one of the most important alloy of the aluminum is duralumin. Duralumin. This duralumin dura is used for durability. So duralumin has 4.4% of copper, 0.6% of manganese, 1.5% of magnesium, and rest is aluminum. This duralumin is one of the important wrought alloy of aluminum. Similarly, there is magnesium, and there is hindalumium, and these are the composition of those elements. Now there are few cast alloy of aluminum, such as LM5, such as this, which has 4 copper, 3% of silicon, and rest is aluminum. These are the in the cast piece. In the cast piece, there is one of the main ingredient is silicon in the cast alloy section. And next there is heat treatable alloy. These are the heat treatable alloy, and these are the non-heat treatable alloy. In non-heat treatable alloy, this LM is the trade name. This LM is the trade name of this composition. So this composition should be read very carefully, and this should be known to the students. So what is the use of aluminum? Now what is the use of aluminum and their alloy? The use of aluminum and their alloy is mainly in the transportation industry. In the transportation industry, for the structural framework, engine part, decorative features, hardware, doors, window frame, finishing and fitting, this can be done using aluminum. Why in the transport aluminum is used? Because in case of aluminum add very less amount of weight, which gives us the capability for the decorative part structure, making decorative part, structural frames, hardware, door, window frame, finishing, fitting, etc. Next is overhead conductor and heat exchanger part. Overhead conductor and heat exchanger parts, this can be made using aluminum and its alloy. Why? Because aluminum has a good conductivity of heat and electricity. So that's why overhead conductor and heat exchanger part can be used. A wide application of aluminum is seen in the food industry. Aluminum and its alloy find its application in preparation equipment, refrigeration, storage container, bakery equipment, and shipping container. These are the main applications. Say we have all seen aluminum foil for storage or shipment of food product. So food industry, aluminum is widely used. And there is cryogenic application. Cryogenic means very low temperature application. In very low temperature, most of the metal fails, or most of the metals change their properties and be very brittle. But it is not in the case for aluminum and its alloy. So it has cryogenic applications. Next there is heavy duty structure such as traveling crane, hoist, conveyor support, bridges. Those can be made using aluminum or in any form. Say in case of most of the hanging bridge, the ropes are used. The ropes that are used are made of aluminum strings. So aluminum is used in heavy duty application. And the overhead cranes that should have very low weight, and the has very low weight, that is given by using aluminum. The airplane body, which has also should be very low weight, that used aluminum and its alloy to make the airplane body. And in the process industry, to handle organic, chemical and photochemical and different drugs, the aluminum is used. The foil by which your strip of your medicine is made of aluminum or their alloys. So these are the typical application of aluminum and its alloys. Now with this note, we end this chapter about, or we end this topic, which is non-ferrous metal and its alloy. Thank you for being here and have a good day. If you have any problem, if you had any problem, please share with me. Thank you.